Hi there, Sean Wilmot. Today we're taking a look at the Iveco Daily E6. It's a new generation van that's come from the Iveco Corporation, and basically it's a combination of Italian, French and German brands that started way back in 1975. Okay, for those train spotters out there who might have actually recognized the Iveco name, you might be looking at this van and going, hang on a minute, that doesn't look like the Iveco van I know. And there's a very good reason for that, because this is a latest generation. And you can tell because we've got the daytime running lights here, which is de rigueur for the modern van, and that takes us neatly around to the front here where we see this lovely chrome grille. Now the chrome grille is kind of important because it's an identifier. This actually tells you, if you can see chrome, that you're running the Himatic 8-speed automatic gearbox, which was an award-winning gearbox a couple of years back ago when Iveco first developed it. If that chrome was replaced with a black plastic, you'd be driving a manual, which is another option for you. The next thing to look at, of course, is the bumper unit. Now you're sitting there going, big deal, it's a bumper unit. What's the big haps with that? Well, actually, this is a very clever bumper unit because it's actually made up of 3 different sections, center and the 2 sides. As to the 3 parts, well, this part here is separate, the middle part is separate, and the other side is separate. This is really cool because if you just happen to ding one of these sections, you don't have to replace the entire bumper. You just replace the 1 unit, which means that instead of having just a massive cost, you're making a huge cost saving right from the word go. And that's just one of the clever things that Iveco have come up with in the E6. And there's plenty more to come, and we'll take you through them. There are 3 different engines that you can specify with the Iveco Daily. One's a 2.3 litre, one's a 3 litre with an electronic variable geometry turbo, and the one we're in is a 3 litre with a standard variable geometry turbo. As to the overall power in general, we're talking about 134 kilowatts of power, 430 newton meters of torque. And that 430 newton meters is the most critical figure because that's exactly what you need. Big gobs of juicy torque to carry those very heavy and very bulky cargoes. Part and parcel of the Iveco Daily's transmission, of course, we've got the 8-speed Himatic, is the addition of the eco mode and power mode. Now this is controlled on the shifter, and basically when you're driving around in the inner city environments, you'll want to put it into eco mode, which keeps it down to that nice fuel efficient and very, very clean and environmentally friendly mode of operation. This is a super clean efficient engine because it's actually running with an additive called AdBlue. That basically is designed to eliminate nitrous oxides and particle emissions from a very, very clean engine in the first place. The Iveco Daily van is probably one of the most versatile vans on the New Zealand market. And by versatile, I mean it appeals to so many different applications and different uses. For example, we've just come from a city environment where you've been a courier driver or a warehouse delivery person, and the van has been absolutely ideal for that. Now we're on a building site, and that's kind of appropriate too because there aren't too many vans that can fit onto a building site that are that size and do what the Iveco Daily can do. That is, it can tow. But before we go into that, we're just going to have a look at the interior of the van and show you exactly what 16 cubic meters looks like. The Iveco Daily range is full of versatility and variety. A lot of options come with this vehicle. We get the side paneling in this one, for example. We get this nice firm flooring situation here as well. Note also the barn doors, which are another option that you can specify. These ones open up to 270 degrees each side, which means they're flat fold, and that's a nice easy operation to execute. Towing capacity. Not something you'd normally expect to hear about from a van, but in the case of the Iveco Daily, you've got a whopping 3,500 kilogram towing capacity. And how big is that? It's about this sort of size. So up the front, we've got a wealth of storage space, in addition to the obvious grab handles up the front and on the side doors as well. The cabin has overhead storage, above dash, mid dash, and under dash storage spaces. We've also got a very, very nice and tidy, sophisticated audio suite entertainment system, which gives you satellite navigation, amongst other things, and Bluetooth connectivity. The seats, not only are they heated, They're also independently suspended, and that is an option. The suspended seats, which are probably the best in the business, go a long way to combating driver fatigue. As you're driving along, the suspension is moving underneath and your seat is bouncing independently to keep the whole thing working nicely so that you don't feel exhausted at the end of the day. The Iveco Daily, being a modern van of course, has a raft of safety features on board. Autonomous emergency braking, whereby the vehicle actually compensates for vehicles stopping in front of me rather abruptly. Crosswind assist. This is particularly useful for a high top van. As you drive across a bridge, for example, where there's high gusts of wind. And the last one, of course, is the quintessential lane departure and lane keep assist warning system. Being as how Iveco is predominantly a truck manufacturer, and a darn good one at that, it's quite an impressive statistic that they've managed to produce and sell 3 million of these bad boys over a course of 40 years in 110 countries around the world. There are 12 service centres in the North Island and a further 9 in the south. So it doesn't really matter where you are in the countryside, you can always get your Iveco Daily van serviced. And how often do you need to service? Well, Iveco's handbook actually states a 40,000 kilometre service interval, which means great news because your van is actually going to be out on the road earning money and doing what it should be doing. It's an environmentally friendly vehicle. It's hyper efficient. It's very comfortable. It's packed with safety technology. It's so easy to drive, which you can do on a Class 1 license, by the way. And it doesn't really matter how you cut it. 16 cubic meters is a heck of a lot of space to carry and put bits and pieces into. So my next piece of advice to you, get down to your nearest Iveco dealership and take one out for a test drive yourself. You won't be disappointed.